You know, I'm not one to showcase the old cheese usually, but since folk have been eating up some of our most recent breakdowns of them, I suppose I should just give the people what they want, right? Well, up until Clay Patch is what we do share less than 24 hours later, but hey, let's just enjoy it all while it lasts, yes. But today's cheese might actually just survive, believe it or not, as there's just this stupidly easy workaround that doesn't actually sound like it'd be an easy fix to me. But folks, bring out the crackers and prepare your stomachs for a little toadstool sandwich, as it's time to slog the King of the Frogs. Want to learn how to eliminate all but one of his quote-unquote attacks, all the while having to do literally nothing but chop trees and murder now and then? Then look no further. Let's get to it. And while there are a couple options on the table, I believe but two are truly worth our time when it comes to this particular method. Therefore, we're gonna start with how we'll be needing one, preferably two ice staffs in our back pockets, as well as the lag compensation setting switched to none in the menus here. Now I know that's sort of a strange ask, but trust me, it's going to save you several steps and a potential headache or two if you do things this way instead of the other way to come. But before we even get to any of them, there is one last thing on the shopping list that we must get. Lureplants. No matter how you choose to get to the cheese itself, the cheese cannot work without at least two Lureplants of your own. So get the spring and keep your eye out for them for sure. But enough faffing about. So what is this cheese? How does it work? And what is this stupidly easy way to do it that's almost hilarious at this point? Well, the gist of it is that we need to force Toadstool to get as far away from his spawn to where the only thing he'll be wanting to do is walk back to it. Now that actually doesn't take too long, but that's actually what helps this method. As to accomplish this the simple way is to spawn in the King of the Frogs himself here, walk him to where he first initially walks back to his arena, blast him with his ice staff immediately when you see that happen, have him freeze, and then the push is on. And no, not kidding. We will be literally pushing this amphibian atrocity across the ground to where he needs to be, while also making absolutely sure that he doesn't thaw out or gets knocked out of this frozen state until he is a decent walk away from that initial spawn. Now that last bit is very, very important, and we'll talk about why here in a minute. But for now, note that once we do get him decently far away, our job will be to place them two Lureplants to either side of him in order to later prevent him from going anywhere once he does finally thaw out naturally. And folks, this is it. This is the cheese. Once you reach this point, all you will ever have to worry about is his charge phase, as yes, he will be incapable of using his boom shrooms, spore bombs, and even his desperation stomp attack later in the fights. So just stand and deliver for the entire fight, and you'll win. Enjoy, but hold up, Beard. Is it truly that easy? Yes it is. Turn that lag compensation off, and you can pull it off immediately. Now, there is another way or two for those not looking to do any of that. However, I find them a little more involved and a lot more stressful to pull off. So you'll have to decide what's best for you, of course. Both are practically the same, apart from how one uses an ice staff or two, while the other chooses to render Toadstool asleep with pan flutes and such. However, I would still advise that you choose the former no matter what. In either case, though, we are looking to move the guy into position once more, only since now that we can't push him into place, we need to push him using placements beneath him over and over and over again. In short, we freeze him all the same as before, but now we constantly place fossil fragments beneath him to force him across the ground, all the while again, not letting him thaw. Doing it this way is going to require speed on your end, so if you do not trust yourself to place things quickly while also maintaining your ice staff usage, then stick with method number one, even if you don't like the lag compensation thing. Heck, they lead to the same bloody thing anyways, so I don't see why you'd make it any more complicated. But yes, why keep warning us about him thawing out too early, Beard? Can't we just recover it by refreezing him or just blocking his path right then and there? No, Unfortunately, he can't do either of those things, actually. If he is allowed to thaw before he's far enough away, or if he is thawed out before having done so naturally, he will still be able to access all of his attacks once you do eventually, quote-unquote, recover it and get him in a position. And that's a problem, because his attacks destroy the Lureplant, of course, thus the whole thing is going to be ruined. Not great, and really easy to do outside of the pushing method in my opinion. So yeah, I'm here to advocate, just do the frickin' pushing method. But do you know what else no attacks on his end is gonna be leading to? The fact that we can keep all foods and even a Hambat on our person because he cannot use his spore bombs. Heck, you don't even need armor either because he doesn't have any of his boom shrooms. But if you still don't get what the fight is going to actually look like in all this, then just watch a cycle or two here before we wrap up the day. Enjoy! Now, I know what some of you are probably asking. What about Misery Toadstool Beard? And to that, I ask this. What about him? All Misery Toadstool is a beefed up Toadstool with a stupid amount of health that will not make the fight harder in any way, just longer. Much, much longer, mind you. Folks, the setup and the fight will be exactly the same between the two, only you'll be fighting said fight for ages in one over the other. Good luck. And there you have it, everyone. A rather swift rundown on a very old cheese method for Toadstool and Misery within Don't Starve Together that I'm shocked isn't patched yet, but famous last words. Believe it or not, there's actually another very similar to it, involving walls within his arena itself, coupled with the classic Flingo method we've used many times before. So if folk would like to see that one, then let me know. I'll go ahead and show it to ya. But thanks for watching, folks. Well wishes to all. Eat your stinky cheese. And I'll see ya in the next one. Bye-bye.